Hi, Pal 4. You have this amethyst chunk bringing in metaphysical healing of a spiritual nature. This is a kind of healing that starts DNA deep. Also brings clarity and understanding in terms of your relationships. So let's see. What is going on in your relationship, Pile 4? We have the Three of Coins reversed. So definitely bringing in, you guys haven't been working together very well. The Three of Coins is associated with collaboration, working together, two pieces coming together to create something new. For this card to be reversed, I feel like there's been an issue with your overall flow of give and take between you. I'm getting an energy here where maybe this relationship started out as friends. And there hasn't been a clear projection of what's going on from there. So this was supposed to be a reading about marriages. So now I'm feeling that there was some kind of establishment in terms of your finances that is very akin to the energy of being married. And maybe you guys were married in a previous lifetime, if that's something that's of relevancy to you. So it feels like you've been lacking an energy of inspiration in your romantic life. There's also a lack of communication I'm feeling here as well. And you guys may not have been spending as much time together as you like. Here we have the Eight of Swords reversed, which is interesting because the Eight of Swords upright talks about self-limiting beliefs, kind of being stuck in your head, feeling stuck in a rut, feeling as if you're not able to move forward. With this card reversed, it usually talks about a releasing of that energy. With the Three of Coins reversed, I feel like because of the lack of collaboration, maybe you've been feeling alone, untethered, as if you two don't belong together. Pile 4. You're not sure if you guys are meant for each other anymore. You've been losing a lot, or you've been lacking a lot of clarity about some hard, fast truths that have been becoming abundantly clear to you. I feel like there's something that you need to do in order to clear the air between you two. We have the Seven of Wands. Okay, so the Seven of Wands is usually about someone standing up for their beliefs. It can be a defensive card, a defensive energy, but it's also always been talking about self-confidence to me. When I am lacking in self-confidence, the Seven of Wands usually comes forward to talk about me not needing to sit too sternly in the energy of being unsure. That there are values in certain things that have a strong sense of belief for me. In terms of working with others and living in a collaborative fashion, it could be that it's time for you to get back in touch with them in a way that you're able to establish a stronger sense of cohesion, and maybe this will help to bring more stability to the situation. Because the sevens are associated with intuition and are a very spiritual number. So it could be that there is a lack of faith in this situation that has been dictating as to whether or not you feel as if it has been worth the continued energy to fight for. Pile 4. Then we have the Nine of Swords reversed. So definitely talking about feeling overwhelmed, feeling as if maybe the relationship has run its course, feeling unsure of how to go from here. Maybe you've been struggling with racing thoughts, a lot of fear. Maybe this has been causing you to lose sleep because you've been up and down all night, worrying about things. I think you've been wearing a frown for quite a bit, pile 4. I feel as if it's one of those things where you've been kind of thinking of walking away just to try to find some kind of sense of peace again. Let's see. And this is falling under the 3 of coins reversed. So I'm wondering if this is something that was based in the past, where there was an air of freedom that's needed. And also, I feel like you feeling defeated, pile 4. And then after that comes the 9 of Wands. So definitely talking about feeling a little bit like a wounded warrior. The 9 of Wands also talks about us having boundaries or walls built up between us and others, but it also talks about having an energy of perseverance, of recognizing that you are able to get through this cycle. You can accomplish whatever it is that you set out to have happen in this relationship. It just will require you to develop more in terms of your sense of self-confidence, pile 4. So let's see what advice they have as to whether or not you should try to rebuild or go. Okay, so we have choose wisely, which is associated with the 7 of Cups. So it basically talks about you feeling overwhelmed, and as in what direction that you should be going or what direction the relationship should be going in. And a big decision is finally starting to rear its head, pile 4. And as a part of that, I feel like it's necessary for you to really take some time to contemplate and put a lot of things in order so that you can consider all of your options in terms of rebuilding this thing or in making sure all of your needs are met should you have to leave. But I feel like allowing things to run their natural course is the best decision at this time, and to not necessarily feel like you have to force anything, that things can come to a beneficial conclusion. Okay, great. And we have the 2 of Cups, which is known as spiritual union. So yeah, you two have a very strong spiritual connection. There's a lot of love here. I feel like what you may be struggling to make clear is based in a lot of maybe bad habits based off of past experiences or past relationships, that you two need to come together and have a meeting of minds of sorts, really communicate how you've been feeling and what you both feel you need in order to continue to stay together and coexist happily. Solar plexus chakra. And the solar plexus chakra is associated with our sense of self-confidence and trust in who we are and our own sense of identity. This is calling for you to have some courage, pile 4, to stand up for yourself, to really fight for what you want, to recognize that you can create the life of your wildest dreams. It's just going to take some effort on your part in order to find out exactly what you need to feel like this is a relationship to your best benefit. Transformation. Transformation is associated with the Death card, and the Death card is all about rebirth, renewals, and having awakenings. It could be that things have been stagnant in the relationship because you have been in a period of needing to transform, to change. As you can see, this fairy is actually bursting forward from a head here. They are in a chrysalis, so to speak, and are waiting to emerge here with their new wings and a fresh perspective. I feel that there has been a lot of energy of change and inner awareness that has been necessary in your relationship, and this could have been driving you into this energy of being unsure as to whether or not things are continuing to be a good fit, because you're not the same person anymore, pile 4. And if that is true, if you have changed and your needs have changed, it's perfectly reasonable to negotiate that and discuss this with the other person. If you feel like there's something here that you're lacking, you could do best to give them the chance to try to meet your needs. Or if they're unable to or have no desire to do so, well, that gives you all the information you need as to whether or not you want to go. We have harmony here, which is also associated with the Lovers card, pile 4. With the Two of Cups and the Lovers cards, you guys have a very powerful bond. There is more here involved in the relationship than is just skin deep. I feel like there may be a struggle associated with ego. Our ego is what drives us to fulfill our needs and desires, usually on a physical nature, or if it's emotional, is what drives us to seek out affection, love, sex, those kinds of things. Now, if that has been an issue, then I think that it's time to recognize that it may be better off leaving our worries and concerns about incompatibility in the past, and to really recognize that what you have here is a relationship that isn't going to come along very often in your lifetime, pile 4. It's time to really sit down and do the work and establish how you can make this a more exciting relationship or marriage. Yep, and then we have financial and material changes. This could be related specifically to a lack of stability or some kind of drastic financial change that has been really dragging on you energetically. It can be difficult sometimes because when we experience a financial change, that means our plans have to change, our expectations have to change, and as a result, it may be necessary to downsize. I feel that if it is time for you guys to consider downsizing, recognizing that your finances do have the ability to improve, and that it is necessary for you to recognize that it is the people who are most important to you that are of real value, pile 4. It's important for you to recognize that even if you don't have the same large home anymore, even if you don't have the access to all the things that you used to do, that there is still great value in your life. That by choosing each other, you're always going to know that you have the stability you need to regrow things once things turn around after a bit. So let's see what information they have in order to bring some healing into the relationship. So first thing out is picture jasper, which is associated with artistry. So let me go to my booklet and see what information I can get for us. Picture jasper. It says, give yourself to a creative pursuit, the awareness that you are creating your future. Inspired dreams or visions, the distance between imagination and reality is diminished. Contemplation reveals the connection you've been seeking. So now I'm wondering if maybe the Three of Coins was related specifically to a work situation that has been overwhelming you. You've been feeling stuck and you've been feeling unsure as to what to do, and this may have been causing disharmony in your relationship. I think that it's very important that we recognize that even in these times of financial insecurity and uncertainty, we always have our ingenuity as well as our own innate talents and sense of creativity to rely on. It could be time for you to take some time to meditate and to picture yourself discovering and developing your creative gifts and expressing your spiritual side. It says that this stone is great for stimulating the third eye and enhancing visualization. Visualization is an important part of manifesting, as it requires you to have a full commitment to the idea that you can create the world and life that you want to have, and you are able to do it trusting in your own innate creativity, skills, and talents. And it says that the picture jasper is also healing to anyone suffering from writer's or artist block. And it says another beneficial property for visual artists is its abilities to enhance channeled visions from spirit or from the inner landscape. So it could be that you have been struggling with artist block and then your creativity has taken a fall. And a lack of creativity can often mean also a lack of positive sexual energy. As in spite of whether or not you find yourself inclined to have sex, our sexual energy is very much connected to our sense of creativity, as they are one and the same. The way that you come into physical union with others and create a child, you can also use your creative and sexual energies to boost your sense of creativity and self-confidence. Could be time for you to have a couple orgasms and then see how you feel about whatever it is you've been working on, pile 4. And next we have lapis lazuli, which is associated with self-knowledge. So let's take a look at lapis lazuli and see what insight this card can give us. It says that lapis lazuli is strength and beauty is revealed through challenge, awareness of a hidden motive, honesty and poise garner respect, freedom from needing to prove oneself. Objectivity is a source of composure under pressure. And that it says that this stone resonates with the throat chakra to bring clarity of speech. It has a powerful ability to strengthen the personality by revealing deep inner knowledge. And it says to use this stone to grow self-awareness, self-knowledge, and inner truth. This card brings a powerful boost to your confidence. I mentioned confidence earlier with the 7 of Wands. I think that it's also important to recognize that our third eye and throat chakra are often very much associated with your ability to create as a writer, even if it's as, somebody who writes books, writes scripts, writes plays, writes novels. Even if you're someone who uses your eye for certain details, like in drawing or painting or photography or filmmaking, oftentimes these things are associated with us being able to unblock a deeper sense of energy and use that energy to power through when we're having difficulties with feeling or getting inspired. So let's see what other information we can get with the rest of these Lenormand cards, pile 4. So the first thing we have here is the Lady. Now, the Lady is associated with being a woman, but it can also talk about the feminine form and our intuition. I think relying more on your intuition can help you push through whatever it is that has been holding you back in this situation. Being more creative in other aspects of your life can sometimes allow you to relax enough to move past the artist block you may be experiencing in your work. See, this card is associated with the Ace of Spades, and the Ace of Spades is also what is known as the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is all about insight, understanding, new beginnings in terms of our mental expression and our overall ability for communication, and is also associated with truth. Trusting in your intuition and knowing what it is that you need in order to get those juices flowing. Then we have the Birch or the Whip. And now this is a card that talks about basically receiving harsh judgment, and I think that may have been something that was going on. You may have been beating yourself up quite a bit currently, and I think it's necessary for you to understand that when you're struggling, getting into a negative mindset is not going to help you, and having a positive, optimistic outlook is so necessary when you work independently, because the only person you can really rely on is yourself. And struggling to look at yourself with an optimistic and empathetic outlook can cause you to have an issue with doing that as well with others. If you have been needing to work on things with others or to rely on others, or maybe you've been having an issue with difficult clients, It's important to recognize that sometimes people aren't able to be satisfied because they don't have a good understanding of their needs. And by allowing yourself to be more open about what it is that may be helpful for you, you can express this to other people and then see if that helps them come to a better sense of understanding of what their needs are and how to communicate those needs with you. So communicating your own needs can give people the opportunity to communicate theirs. And this can offer you more financial stability, as this card is also associated with the King of Clubs, who is known as the King of Coins. And the King of Coins is the master of financial abundance, stability, and creating fortune and work ethic. All right, and then we have here the Mountain. So the Mountain is all about obstacles, overcoming the obstacles, and then recognizing that there's a lot of trust there that is necessary for you to feel self-reliant, and that when you overcome things that are difficult, you also prove to yourself in your ability to do so, and you gain a lifetime's worth of knowledge and wisdom by facing these obstacles head on, pile 4. And this card is also associated with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's the 7 of Clubs, which is also known as the 7 of Coins. So the 7 of Coins is a card about patience, recognizing that diligence is necessary to see our work or investments bloom and blossom over time. It may be time for you to take a break as well if you've been really throwing your head against the wall, banging your head against the wall, trying to get through this. It may be time to take a step back and focus on something else. And you may find that you get a lot of benefit in that aspect, pile 4. But I thank you so much for joining us, pile 4. If you are interested, you can book a personal reading by checking out the information in the description box below. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I thank you so much for joining us, pile 4. We're now moving to pile 5. And we have pile 5 with a piece of petrified wood. And the petrified wood is great for grounding, and then also in inviting healing in your, I think it's your base as well as your third eye chakra, visualization as well as a sense of foundation and stability. So let's see what's been going on in your relationship lately. All right, we have the 4 of Wands, setting up a great energy already. The 4 of Wands is a card of stability, celebration, passion. It's also a card associated with home. I can tell already that you've been working very hard to make your relationship grow and that you have been reaping the rewards. Five of Swords. Interesting. So coming off of the 4 of Wands, we have the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords is all about conflict, whether it be with others or with ourselves. So this is coming through to me as a conflict with another person. So sometimes we have words with others, and these words can have a sharp reaction on other people. If this has been someone that you have been arguing with lately, I think it's important for you to recognize what you say can have devastating effects on your relationship. And to never enter an argument from the energy of wanting to be right, it's important that you come to an argument from the energy of wanting to be heard and to work out what you need to work out with this other person. It's very important that we don't get caught up in having the last word. Because honestly, when I say with people who want to have a fight with me like that, do you want to be angry? Angry, right, or happy? And we'll let that be it, because sometimes it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to be trying to get the other person to concede to you being correct. It is much easier to try to come from a place of understanding and forgiveness, because then you can move forward and nobody has to feel neglected. The moon. Okay, so the moon talks about hidden feelings, moodiness, emotions, things sometimes being unclear, kind of being in a fog or a foggy mind state. I feel like this also talks about there being some kind of primal fear that has been playing in the background in your subconscious when you're having this conflict with this person. Our subconscious carries so much of our baggage that we don't allow our conscious mind to be buried down with trying to sort through. So this can be stuff that has happened that's related to trauma in your past, past relationships with your families, your parents, past relationships with friends or lovers or partners. All of these things can cause us to navigate our current relationships from a place of fear and worry and abandonment, which causes us not to communicate things clearly, and we project these fears and worries onto others, and it makes it seem as if people are going out of their way to hurt us, and so we go out of our way to hurt them. We have the Page of Coins reversed. So interesting, because the Page of Coins upright is someone who is full of potential, stable, very much interested in learning. And when this card is reversed, it talks about someone who is lacking a great deal of grounding, is likely very, very inflexible, and has a hard time I feel like backing down a little bit and really trying to figure out how they can give. Because the Page of Coins is someone who is recognizing the potential of something to grow into the stability associated with the person themselves maturing into the King of Coins, as well as the coin they're carrying maturing into the Ten of Coins, which is stability of both a financial as well as emotional and relational basis. So if you've been struggling a lot lately with maybe taking care of the kids, because the pages can be associated with children, or just basically anything that you may have experienced while in childhood, that these things could be rearing their head and causing problems in your relationships or within your family. And then we have the Ten of Swords reversed. So the Ten of Swords is a card of grief, mental disruption, mental anguish, basically going through something so, like, in your head over and over again that it completely breaks you down, so to speak. But with this card being reversed, it talks about you actually coming out of that energy and reaching a place of mental clarity. So I do see that things have been difficult, but it seems as if you are finally coming out of it, so to speak. So I'm sorry if this has been something of grief associated with maybe infighting in your family. Maybe someone has passed away and that has caused all these issues. Maybe you've been just struggling and tired and stressed, and that's been leading to more arguments. But I'm really hoping that the messages here in this reading will offer you some value so that you can invite healing into yourself and into your relationship. With that being said, let's see what they advise in terms of you working things out or maybe needing to move on. We have a partnership and alliances, which is associated with the Three of Coins, which is all about collaboration, working with each other and bringing what you both have to offer and using it to create something new. It could be that it's time for you to recognize that everything that you're trying to accomplish can be worked through. It's just important that you recognize this other person is not an opponent or an enemy, but as a teammate, and someone that you want to establish better boundaries with if necessary, so that you can communicate everything you need in order to make this relationship feel like a personal benefit. Because we all have our own stories, and sometimes it's really important for you to recognize where your story is so that you don't start projecting those feelings on the other person and vice versa. Okay, we have emotional loss, which is associated with the Five of Cups. So I feel like there was some kind of grief associated here in your relationship or in your family. Because the Five of Cups is all about a sense of loss, sometimes betrayal. It's about feeling as if, because of whatever situation you've been through, that there's no hope for you to have things get better. But it's important to recognize that the Five of Cups usually shows people having lost like maybe 3 cups, but still having 2 more. So all is not lost. By taking the time out, you can recoup what you have and grow again. It's just important to give yourself a period of time to grieve and then recognize that these feelings won't last forever. We have temptation, and temptation is associated with the Devil card. Now, this can talk about depression, codependency, as well as obsession. When I think of the temptation card, I don't just think about something tempting you. I think about the temptation to act out the worst parts of yourself. So we all have a side that is associated with the light and a side is associated with the dark. We have a yin and a yang. They're equal and opposite forces that have a pull on us, and by allowing too much of our dark side to dictate our lives, we lose sight of the light that is possible. So it could be that you need to realize that there is something here that you need to access in order to make a change. It could be coming to a agreement with this person about how you handle arguments moving forward. Maybe choosing to never go to bed angry, maybe choosing to step away and allowing your feelings to pass before discussing them. It all depends on what it is that you've been going through and what your specific circumstances are. And then we have mental conflict. Okay, so mental conflict, which is associated with the Two of Swords. This card talks about kind of going back and forth a lot and really struggling with mental clarity and mental stability. It could be that you suffer from anxiety to a degree that it leads to depression. And I'm very sorry if this is making it difficult for you to communicate your feelings. It could be that it's time for you to consider what it is about yourself that makes you special. And you do these things from the place of journaling your thoughts and feelings, incorporating affirmations into your life, because a better sense of self-understanding leads to a better sense of self-esteem and self-confidence. And those things allows you to engage in your relationship from a place of understanding and empathy instead of anger, fear, worry, or neglect. So let's see what insight they give us in terms of how to bring healing into yourself and as well as your relationship. And so with this card we have is Vermarine, which is a card associated with a bridge. And they mean literally a bridge, a connecting point, a way to cross turbulent waters or rivers. And let's get some further insight by checking out the booklet. So it says that Vermarine is a solid plan, links possibility and actuality. A higher ideal or cause is taken up in the workplace or incorporated into daily life. An ephemeral I can't read. Ephemeral encounter has a physical impact, deja vu, or a sense of what is coming. So it could be that you have been playing out past situations as if they are a reality, and that is something that I understand completely. So basically you get into your head about how a situation is going to play out before you even have it happen, and since you've already written out a conclusion, you basically put yourself in the place of having a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you go into a situation knowing that this other person isn't going to understand you, for example. And since you come into a situation of knowing this person isn't going to understand you, you are already planning for how you're going to react to being misunderstood. And since you've already come in with all these different things, it doesn't really matter what the person says or does. You're going to always see what you expected to see or hear anyway. And they could be trying their very best to understand you, but it doesn't matter because you've already decided that you know, and as a result, you're going to dictate exactly how the situation goes. So it says that this stone acts as a bridge or a link between the physical and the spiritual. It is an effective meditation stone that brings spiritual ideals into our everyday lives, and that it rebalances higher and lower energies. And it says it is thought to connect with interdimensional beings such as angels and fairies. So this could also be your spirit guides, angels, and ancestors asking you to create a better sense of connection with them. I think that you may be someone who, with the moon card, may actually be psychic and have a strong sense of intuition, but you've been using your intuitive powers to your detriment, pile 5. And when I say that, I mean that when we believe that someone is going to mistreat us, we are automatically planting flowers in our heads that are going to bloom with thorns. We're always living in the past, and as a result, we are always just waiting for this next time we're going to experience hurt. And it says that, not surprisingly, this stone is a beneficial crystal for prophecy. This card will help you communicate with your higher self and your spiritual guides. If you are clairvoyant, working with the energy of the stone will make your message more focused. Okay, yeah, they're definitely trying to reach out to you to give you greater insight into your situation. I can definitely be of help with that. If you want to, you're more than welcome to request a personal reading in the information below in the description box. All right. And the next card we have is the book. So the book talks about us recognizing that we have a lot of knowledge at our disposal. This knowledge can end up being secret information, and secret information can be things that are hidden from ourselves or things that we hide from others. It could be that it's time for you to have a kind of reckoning of your past, pile 5. This could be in the form of needing to go to therapy, needing to really sit down and ask yourself what is the root of all of these wounds or hurts that you are carrying, needing to recognize that there is a greater story being played out in the background in your subconscious, also needing to recognize that you have a lot of feelings inside that you may be trying to hide, and that it may be important for you to recognize that the reason why you're getting so emotional is because you don't want to let go of this story that you've already written. So here's some advice to help you move forward from this and really start living your best life possible. There's Azrael, the angel of death. Yes. So the angel of death talks about us coming to a period of rebirth, recognizing that our past is just that. It's in the past. Those moments are gone and they can't ever come back. It's time to kill the things that you no longer need, pile 5. This can be in the form of traumatic ties, feelings of loss, recognizing that you are a full and complex person. That it's time for you to move forward with a sense of understanding that now that you have left those places, those people, those experiences behind, you are able to live a brand new life. And this is further clarified by Sandalphon, which is the angel of new life. You no longer have to be tied to these past experiences, pile 5. There's no need to hide. You can share what has happened and recognize that I grew through that. I survived that, and it's time for me to move on. And this is further talked about with Kushiel, the angel of punishment. Know that you have been hurt by others, and that hurt has not been ignored. The universe has saw what has been done, and they have acted accordingly to bring karma to those people. It is not necessary for you to carry around this hurt, these feelings of revenge or pettiness, or even the subconscious need to punish yourself. You are a good person. It's important for you to recognize you have a whole life to live, and that you can start over if you are so ready to do so. But I thank you so much for joining us, pile 5, and I hope this information was helpful for you. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you so much for joining us for this reading. And now we have pile 6 with the green aventurine, which talks about bringing in healing to access joy in all aspects of your life, and also helps with stimulating your sense of creativity, communication, and self-confidence. So what's been going on in your relationship currently, pile 6? I got a lot of cards for you. So hopefully you are ready to receive the information coming through. We have the 7 of Coins. So coming in through the energy of patience, waiting for the things you have invested to grow and to become fulfilled. Also talks about you recognizing that there are still a lot of things that you've yet to discover about yourself. And then that there is a energy of then knowing that there's a lot left for you to learn. We have the Queen of Wands reverse. Now, this is a card that talks about feeling self-assured, feeling highly charismatic, a natural-born leader and full of fire. But in reverse, this talks about someone who doesn't believe that they deserve the things that they want, and so as a result, they don't go after what they want. And this is basically an overall energy of feeling like a low sense of self-confidence or a low sense of self-esteem. But if we're talking about in terms of your relationship, then this likely means that this person considers you to be a very charismatic, ambitious, and sexually charming individual. But it seems that for some reason you're just not feeling it. We have the Lover's card. The Lover's card is associated with deep spiritual bonds, duality, but also choice. It could be there's a level of cohesiveness here that you need to recognize, and choosing to love yourself, then you are choosing to believe that you are worthy of love, pile 6. Then we have the 6 of Coins reversed. So it feels like there hasn't been a positive sense of exchange. And this has been exchange in terms of energy, exchange in terms of give and take. And this lack of a positive energy exchange of give and take in the relationship is also affecting your sense of growth. And then we have the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins is someone who is a natural business person, has deep ties to the earth, has a strong sense of foundation, family, and domestic duty. And for this card to be reversed, it talks about you feeling a little unsure of yourself, feeling like you're lacking in stability and self-understanding. But it could also talk about how this person sees you as someone who is of wifey material, so to speak, a desired partner. And I don't think that you're recognizing what you really have to offer based on how you feel about yourself. So let's see. Now we understand a little bit about what's going on in this relationship. There's a lack of balance in terms of exchanging of energy. There is a lack of self-confidence on your part, or maybe on this person's part. You know, exchange the wording if necessary to really understand what's happening here. I feel like also with the Orange Aventurine that it's necessary to invite healing here in terms of somebody's self-esteem. So let's see what advice they have in order to invite healing into this situation, or if it may be better for you to take some time apart. So we have triumphant success. Triumphant success is associated with the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is all about new beginnings in terms of communication, new insight, understanding. And triumphant success talks about this being maybe a bit of a liberating experience for you, and that you need to grow in your sense of self-truth. All right, then we have hope here, and hope is the star card. Excuse me, no. Yeah, hope is the star card. It talks about having faith, healing, trust, and really having a deep sense of connection to yourself that you find better direction in life. I feel like whatever it is that you're choosing to do with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Coins, there's some kind of endeavor that you're hoping to take up, but you're not really trusting in your ability to accomplish these things. I think you may not feel like you have to offer in your relationship, and you're needing to have some patience with yourself in hope of correcting these feelings, because with the triumphant success and the hope card, you do have a lot to offer, and you have a lot to of success that is coming. You just have to believe in yourself. Now we have suffering in silence. Suffering in silence is associated with the 9 of Swords. Talks about anxiety, self-limiting beliefs, racing minds, and then also not communicating your needs. I feel that this may be associated with a time in your life where maybe your needs weren't being met when you did speak up, or people didn't acknowledge or validate your feelings. And so it makes it difficult for you to talk about what you need in this relationship. But it's important to recognize that this person wouldn't be with you if they cared about you. And if they care about you, they're willing to hear you out. You just have to be willing to speak up and let them show you that you can trust that they will listen. And then we have patience. Yes, and I feel like you are the seed that's being planted in this card, pile 6. Let this person take care of you. Trust that this is a good relationship. Trust that you're deserving of a healthy, loving relationship. Acknowledge that there are some things here that may be holding you back that you need to discuss so that you can help clear the air and help learn to trust and feeling a deeper sense of self-value. So let's see what other insight they can offer us in order to invite healing into the situation. We have diamond here, which is associated with illumination. So let's see. Diamond, illumination. It says that this card is a flash of brilliance, a clear option in a sea of information, being open to many different perspectives while knowing your mind and deciding for yourself, heightened clairvoyance and psychic ability. Okay, this is definitely telling you to trust your intuition and the intuitive hits that you've been receiving. It may be difficult for you to interpret the things that you're feeling because of a deep-seated sense of self-doubt in your abilities. Please recognize that you are a very special person. You are important to others, and it's important for you to recognize that you should be important to yourself first and foremost. Now it says that diamonds are intensely powerful and can amplify energy and thoughts, and that there is no better gem to connect you with the source of universal energy and illuminate the soul. It says that you could not ask for a more fortunate card, especially if you need strength, fearlessness, and ingenuity. Your soul light shines brightly. And it says that when placed on the third eye, diamond will open you to spiritual development and psychic vision. It also encourages creativity, inventiveness, and imagination. So I think that it's important for you to invite in more spiritual development, to trust in your spiritual abilities, to trust in your intuition and intuitive insight, and to begin to push aside these feelings of doubt and to act on these things that you are receiving in terms of insight anyway. This next card we have is orange agate, and it's associated with vibrancy. So let's see, orange agate. It says that this stone helps to bring about the coming out of stagnation or a low energy period, invigorating activity or conversation, doing something for the simple joy of it, and shake off excuses and say yes to a good time. It says that orange agate's warming and cheerful vibrations stimulate the root chakra, so one can re-engage with a sense of their power. If you already feel well and energetic, it will give you a boost both physically and spiritually. And it says this card brings a welcome vibrancy to anyone who is in a rut or feels their life has become a little humdrum. It is especially effective during colder months when it is more difficult to get out and about, or for anyone who is housebound due to illness. And it says that it stimulates sexual and physical energy while increasing stamina and circulation. And that's beautiful because it is difficult to get out and about right now. And you could be feeling that, and that could be bringing you down. And I want to make sure it's important that if at all possible, that you do invite yourself to get outside more, even if it's only outside your front door, or even if it's only just opening a window to let in some fresh air. We're not being forced to stay inside outside, and you can safely venture outside in certain areas or by taking certain measures or asking for assistance. It's important to recognize also that SAD is a thing, and that's seasonal affective disorder, which is basically having depression. As the days change, it gets darker earlier, it gets colder, there isn't as much sunlight. All of these can affect our mental health and have us feeling issues or having issues with depression. And the next card we have is Garnet, which is all about passion. And it says Garnet is a wholehearted commitment to a project or relationship, feeling roused to action, the rekindling or deepening of a romance, a desire for physical movement, or to take a more hands-on approach. And it says if you feel suppressed, inhibited, or lackluster, the vibrant energy of this crystal will bring you vigor and passion. This card is particularly useful to those who need to own their gifts so they can reach and share their full potential with the world. It also signifies prosperity, wealth, and fame. All relationships will benefit from this exquisite gem. And it says that Garnet's fire will rekindle romance, and it can also elevate relationships to a higher spiritual level. And that's really great, actually, because I think sometimes we forget that sexual energy is a natural part of the human experience. Even if you don't necessarily have any actual attachments to physically having sex, sexual energy is very much associated with creativity and creation. So sometimes it can be necessary for us to really put our energy and joy into doing something that makes us feel happy. Invest in your hobbies. Spend time with people you care about. Really invest in bringing more joy, happiness, and energy into your life. If you've been in a stagnant energy, figure out what things you can do, even on a small level or a short term, that can bring more energy, happiness, and joy into your life. Getting an orange aventurine may also be helpful to get that. Just looking at it is nice, and then carrying it around with you or using it for meditation. And then we have Angel Aura, which is all about communication. And it says Angel Aura. Tackle doubt and fear with information and learned counsel. Communication will create opportunity. Talk, listen, and be guided by the wisdom of experience. Seek a broader perspective. And it says that this stone breaks down doubt, negativity, and other barriers, and thus expands the possibilities open to you. And it says drawing this card means you have an awareness of angels, and it is time to connect with them. So very, very much talking about you trusting your intuitive as well as your spiritual gifts. It says it also enhances your connection with angels and spirit guides. It enables you to express yourself with more clarity and to be heard and understood on a higher level. And that's really wonderful, because expressing ourselves, well, let me start over actually. So our sense of creativity and an innate desire to be heard by others is also representative of our connection to spirit and the source, which some people know as God, Allah, Jehovah, for example. These things are all aspects of ourselves that are based in a spiritual nature, and thus is connected to our chakras, which is where energy pulls from our soul, which is our energy body. By connecting to these ties, by raising our sense of vibrancy and elevation through investing in our sense of well-being, our expression, our overall physical well-being through moving and taking action that increases mobility, we allow ourselves to come into greater communion with angels and spirit guides that are sent here to help and guide us. By tapping into these things, you are automatically moving into a place of communion with them, and you may find that more and more things start to connect with you. You see, we are all made of stardust. Carbon is the central source to our overall creation and physical body, and that is what we have in great connection with the stars and the universe around us. So let's see what other insight they have to give you in order to bring more happiness and stability. All right, we have the dog, which is fantastic. Could talk about you getting support animals, could talk about you reaching out to a trusted friend, as the dog is associated with trustworthy, close friendships. Let's see what other insight we have here. So we have the dog, we have the stars, we're just talking about stardust, and then we have the ship. So now it could be time for you to recognize that you have a trusted companion in the form of your in the form of your angels, as well as your spirit guides. You yourself may be what's known as a star seed, someone whose soul originated from outside of this particular galaxy somewhere else. And it could be that this is a deep connection for you on a personal level. Could also talk about you trusting in the direction that you are trying to travel in. The ship is associated with travel, but with these cards, it could also talk about you trusting that your soul is taking you in the right direction. So, these kind of things I feel like are calling for great reflection on who you have around you and what kind of circumstances that are available that could be allowing you to travel to a greater sense of self-understanding. Could also be talking about you needing to move closer to friends or family. So we have Chakma, right eye of wisdom. And then we have Bina, knowledge. So I think this talks about you having a lot of innate knowledge as an intuitive pile 6. This could be meaning that in terms of your relationship, that you may feel that these gifts would alienate you from this person. And I want you to understand that never worry about the deepest aspects of yourself alienating you from others. Because the reality is, if that is the case and those people are not meant for you, and then if by expressing these things or opening up to this person about it, you can invite a deeper sense of bond between the two of you. But that's all I have for you today, Pile 6. I hope it was helpful. If you would like to purchase a personal reading, you are welcome to do so by checking out the links in the description box below. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I thank you so much for checking out my channel today. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. I love you.